What's up guys, Hades here. So Ivy League season just ended this weekend and well, there was only one kind of good match in Prime League, but man, the regular league had some absolutely insane whale matchups. The PRD AWG game was crazy, IMPK one was pretty good, the GSI one was good, but the most intense one that I heard and saw about was Fear versus Eden, and man, this was a crazy game. I'm going to review it. I'm going to talk about all the mistakes I saw, but also all the great plays. So when you think about normal IB, you think about whales, and yes, this mode is completely imbalanced. It's not fun for a lot of people, but there's still a ton of strategy when it comes to these games. Now, we can see you get up to 40 participants in normal IB, and both of these squads come up with 28, so fair is fair. On the red side, we have Fear. There's quite a few solid whales here. Danger's a whale, Simba's a whale. There's a handful of very strong players. And I believe Nith is a whale, and a handful more come in later. And then, of course, on the other side, Eden has very similar situation. Cass is very strong. Who else? I know there's a few more. Panda's very strong. Couple of other ones. And so we're just going to see what these players are doing. And we can see almost complete ditch on this side. I believe the game's lagging a bit. Yeah, it's lagging a bit. That's okay. I might have to come in and out of the screen, but I want to talk about this right here. These super slow reloads. This right here is unbelievable. I'll skip into this piece, but there is no better teaching moment than this. And this is how you lose games, is off the start. You need to go into your talents, and you have to have this right here. If you don't switch into this for IB lead or just regular IB, you're trolling. Like, you will arrive 20% faster, they will kill your building, and you will never show up to the battlefield. So going back into that match, you can see how many players were not, using that skill. And it is kind of shocking. I will go right back to where we were, the 5-minute mark. But I can't stress how important it is to swap your skill and be here on time. If some of the Eden players had known this or anticipated it, they could have walked into this zone. Like, one of the mega whales lands right here super late. If anyone had walked here, they would have blocked him and he'd be stuck in base forever, right? These super late reloads, everyone's like done or nearly done. Like, this player already landed and is finished building, which means they have like almost a 30-second advantage over these players. And then you can see right there, this player got canceled by TBC, and that's just a huge error, right? And so I don't think most teams quite understand how important the start is, right? So being near the tower, being in this kind of general zone, or even touching it, like right here, being next to the tower, adjacent to it, makes a huge difference, because this player is almost sending, 25-second marches, while this player is sending like 8-second marches. So the players next to the tower can hit it 3, 4, 5 times by the time a player sends it. Even if you insta recall and send it back, it's like almost 40 seconds to get 2 attacks on a turret. So being near is super important. And then second of all, you don't want these gaps. These gaps make such a big difference. It's kind of crazy. You can't defend each other fast. You can't join rallies fast. It just takes so much extra time when you're not adjacent to your allies. Moving into some of the strategy here, Fear did a really good job capturing the tower. I believe they used a support and captured it quite quickly. They pretty much dominated the area in terms of whales near the tower. Nith is a very strong chaos user, and that was probably a big part of it. Now, this is interesting here. I had heard rumors of Danger kind of just doing what he wanted, which surprises me because Pandemora is a very strong opponent. I would actually consider them pretty close to equal. I believe Danger has multiple very strong marches, and Panda may only have one, but I know Panda has Chaos/Holy and a hybrid, and I believe Danger has a Holy and a Fire. So pretty close in terms of power, but everyone just kind of falls around him while they don't get the turret. Eden really plays well down here, having lots of players adjacent to each other. Only one small mistake here on the side. I don't see a ton of rallies going. One rally there. I would love to see rallies on Danger led by some of the stronger players. But what happens is the only player who could have stopped Danger ends up leaving this tower. And I think this might be the biggest mistake of the match. I only briefly looked in it because I wanted to review it. I just wanted to make sure it was a close match so that I would have some interesting things to talk about. But as soon as Panda leaves this tower, there's just kind of no one to break Danger. There's going to be a rally coming in and it gets denied. And the simple fact that that got denied means he should and could be smacking everyone as fast as possible instead of going for tower. It's really hard to get the tower 1 versus 10. It's pretty much a fool's errand. If I were Danger, I would have been hitting the players in front, moving up, and then working my way through these players before trying to capture the tower. Now, when we look in the middle, it has been open for a while and no one's occupied it, mainly because these players, or both teams, decided to go really, really light on supports. As you can see, there was only 2 supports on one team and 1 support on the other team. So the towers are just super, super slow to gain any sort of advantage, right? And I can't stress, this is going to be my second main point. The first one, if you're playing normal IB, is make sure you have that 20% relocation speed. The second one is bring some supports. These matches are so important. If you play supports right, you can capture a tower in about 20 to 25 seconds instead of 2 minutes. And with mid, it's like 35 to 40 seconds. But when players don't bring supports, it takes a full 3 minutes. Defending someone for 3 full minutes, even if you're massively stronger than them, is so, so hard. Pretty much impossible, especially when they have very solid players defending the turret on both sides. It's just going to be a trade of troops, and you're just kind of trading back and forth, and no one's ever going to take the turret. And that's kind of what happens here. We have this neutral state where Fear won the top. They're holding their home. And then the same with the bot. They won the bot, they're holding their home, and then they're just kind of ping-ponging back the middle. But here's where we see some red starting to trickle in, and one troll player kind of hanging out here. I'm not sure what they're doing. But this player is very strong, and they're going to start pushing their weight around here at this turret. And if they don't pull some reinforcements here, I believe Fear is going to have a significant amount of players collapsing around them. You can tell when you click them and watch their HP if they're able to survive a hit or not, and it looks like he's not going to be able to survive a hit from TBC, which means that this position is going to fall. Another player comes in. This player moves forward. This is actually a good spot. I'm going to go back just a moment as a really important moment. I actually really like this relocation spot if you're coordinated. So if this player tries to hit your reload, then you have the other player hit their face. And so if he stops defending with his main, well then this player is going to be allowed to hit him for free multiple times. I think the better spot would have been here next to turret instead of here, where it's easier to be defended and even in the same situation happens. But this is a great time because he's getting pressured on the face, and now you can go right next to him. So continuing forward, we have a great block here. This player is playing very well, winning the top side, and now defending, making a very fatal attack on their home, which could be converted very soon. This is a half effort from the Eden players. It's hard to tell how much power they have. Oh, I'm allowed to in the replay, but not if they're in the continent. So yeah, that's why I didn't think so. Again, ping-ponging back and forth here. This has been quashed. Finally, danger has been removed. This is not going to be taken back anytime soon. So the two corners that are fought for a lot are now neutral. Middle's neutral, and now we just have home attack. So there's a balance of power. They are trying to take it from them on the side. I believe these players are moderately strong, as this player has not been burned in quite a while, and I can tell that these players are decent with their power. But there's just too much reinforcements. Excuse me, this is about to be taken, and it gets taken by Eden. No one was hitting the tower. That was quite a weak effort from them. They're going to have to remove them soon, or this is going to get a little bit dodgy soon. It is 6-1, 7-1, and a player teleports in front of them to remove this quickly. Yep, he dies quickly. And now they're going to get their turret back. And we can see that they traded. So they both got the towers at the same time. And you look at the score, it's within 1,000. This is one of the closest matches I've ever seen. They both made exact counter moves to deny each other. Now, here's the situation that matters. When you pause the game for a moment, there are a ton of players stuck in base, which means all these players have been ported from their locations, which means they're all not being active. I call this downtime. If you have downtime, that's bad. So there's only 2 Fear players with downtime, and there's like 12 Eden players, just rough math, with downtime, and that's just really, really bad in a close match. And the players is very close still. It's within 3, which is pretty good at this point. Not a huge difference, especially at this stage in the game when we've already gone through almost all of the match. I'm going to reload back into 35 minutes just because the timer at the top got bugged out, which happens in the replay frequently, but no big deal. We're back here, back to Time Soar. So, Eden has it still. Panda has flown in. We have another Eden player coming in with the new castle. New castle usually means big spender. And they continue to hold it. And I believe it's a few strong Eden players versus a few weak Fear players trying to fight for this tower, and they're just struggling. And then the exact same thing is happening here. A few strong Fear players are fighting a few weak Eden players, and that's just kind of the way that normal IB is built. There's the strong and the weak. Everyone has a role, but not everyone is as useful, right? You can still block reloads, join rallies, be annoying, but you're going to fly easy, right? The big players are going to get you out of there. Eden players are really starting to get into position. There are a few strong players strong enough to take this back, and I can see a ton of lines coming back into this tower. They have 1 minute. Let's see if they can take it. There are 3 Fear players still here, and it is a swarm of Eden players. They have 20 seconds. I don't believe there's any support on. Just raw taking it, and finally they take it back. So now Eden's up 3-2, and they still hold this tower. Panda and Cold Turtle are quite strong, and there's a third player. I'm not sure of their power level, but this is really starting to become difficult, and they might actually have to submit this tower. And Fear only has a 4, 5, 6,000 point lead, but they're going to start to bleed points here soon. They did finally get the middle. They moved in some of their whales, and again, I believe Panda and Turtle were in the middle defending this, making it a ping pong, and I think they gave it up in exchange for this tower, which is an interesting trade because when you own the middle plus a side, you only lose 5 points per second. So this is becoming a quickly interesting match. I want to see how they got this. I believe it's just a teleport and just a straight up whale versus non-whales situation. Is he trading HP or is he holding his defense? Somehow 1 versus 4, this player captures the bottom right tower. Eden had definitely given this up way too easily. Even somewhat weaker players should be able to kick main marches out of the tower in this game mode because they don't heal. They don't heal, and if you take them out, you're gonna lose that progress. But now one player, if they're strong enough, can easily just kick out all the players from a tower and hold this for quite a significant amount of time. We'll see if anyone's gonna be able to come over here and take him out. But the same situation is here. No one can really take out Panda plus his buddy. I don't know where he went. But now there are a few stronger players here able to retake this, I believe, but at the cost of leaving this tower again. Eden takes the top left, and Fear and Eden are rotating like crazy, and I would go as far as to say as they're both over rotating. Holding the points you need is far more valuable than going around hunting for points, where if they had just kept strong players here in the top and held their position, none of this would be happening. But now Eden is still up 3-2, and the points is quite close. We have another TP here, and I believe it's 2 strong players against a handful of medium players, and they're just not going to be able to port them without some really good coordination. There are quite a few players, though, able to defend, and there's a lot of reinforcements coming. We'll see how many can defend. I know this is a strong player. He's going to probably make a significant difference. I believe a rally is being started, and if they can break them here in the next minute or so, they'll have a chance, but they're still down about 5,000 points. They really need to make an effort here in this last moments. They're still holding tower. Panda Reborn, you are allowed to hit a tower in a bubble. That is going to be my third big tip of this video. You can see him hitting in and out of this tower, defending it as much as he possibly can. I don't know if he'll take it out or not, but he is definitely clearing people very quickly. But it is about 10 versus 1. Will he get it? Will he keep it? No, Fear gets it back, and that is probably going to lock up the match with 4 minutes remaining with a 5k point lead. Fear now owns the bottom right, middle, and their home. But man, this was a close match. Tons and tons of reloads just coming through, and that's a big mistake. Not blocking, not denying, over-rotating, just a ton of clinical mistakes. And when you rely too much on your whales to rotate and win positions, it's usually not the greatest. It's better to just hold them at winning positions and continue to gain your points. But wow, this is an intense match. It is got a cool story behind it because both of these teams are fighting against each other in KVK. Our KVK is a little bit over, but the points still kind of stand. Kind of getting that pent-up tension and anger from all the fighting into a more controlled environment where people can't run rampant and heal themselves on repeat. So big 3 takeaways: making sure you're changing your lord talents at the start of the match. Second, not over-rotating so badly. And then the third is making sure you have your rotation set in place. And if you guys like videos like this, let me know, and I will keep making them in the future. And if you have any comments or suggestions, let me know below, and I will catch you guys in the next one.